This is just a quick recording to talk about the upcoming Iris module assignment. So under the Assignments tab on Blackboard, you will see a folder called Iris Module Assignment. And in this folder, there are 4 separate Iris modules. You will only choose one, okay? So if you go back to the syllabus, it says you're going to choose just one module and you will submit your answers to the assessment questions. So I'll show you what that means in just one second. You can certainly work with a partner or a small group for this assignment. And you will only submit the answers to the assessment questions. All right, so the first 2 are about PALS, which is peer assisted learning strategies. So this first one is about grades K through 1, or kindergarten first. So if that's where your interests are, you might want to select this module. If you're more interested in students grade 2 through 6 and you want to learn about the same program, PALS, Peer Assisted Learning Strategies, you would select this module. If you are uncertain about what an IEP actually is, maybe you've taken a class here or there, here, maybe not. So if you're uncertain about what an IEP actually is and how to develop a high quality IEP, you would want to do this module. And then if you are thinking about, okay, I'm not really interested in peer assisted learning strategies. I'm pretty good with IEPs. I want to think about providing instructional support. So how can you provide instructional supports to struggling learners? And this is just called facilitating mastery of new skills. So again, you will choose one, okay? And right here, see where it's red, here, where it says DocX, here, those are the assessment questions you will answer. So you will, let's say you're going to do PALS grades kindergarten first. You will click here to open the document. Let me just show you what it looks like first, and then I'll show you the actual module. And of course, it's off the screen. All right, so PALS, a reading strategy for grades kindergarten 1, assessment questions. So what you're going to do, you're just going to answer these 5 questions. This is a Word doc, right? So you can type right into it. You can type anything you want. So listing 5 benefits, explain why they are valuable to teachers or students. So, if there are some of the questions that say explain or something like that, make sure you're doing more than just listing, okay? You want to actually tell me why they are valuable, the benefits of PALS. Why would this be valuable to teachers or students? All right, so that's PALS. I do not want to save my little fancy writing. So that's the assessment questions for grades K through 1. Let me show you the grades 2 through 6, and then I'll show you the modules, don't worry. So what I would do, honestly, I would just split screen. I would open up the questions, and then I would open up the module on the other side and just kind of work through it. It lists 5 benefits, name 3 reading activities, and describe, right? So again, more than just listing, you're going to describe, you're going to explain, stuff like that, all right? So that's the second one. The next one, IEPs, developing high quality IEPs. You'll click right here if you want to do this module. Here are the questions. Yes, people, I know they're off the screen. I know. This one, what is an IEP? What purpose does it serve? This gives you a few examples that after you work through the module, or as you're working through the module, you will be able to answer about Bella. This one, explain the importance of monitoring a student progress. We've talked about that a lot, right? Monitoring progress, not just kind of waiting till their IEP is due, but monitoring progress on a more regular basis and reporting that progress to the parents, to the students' parents, not the parents' students, other way around. So there's the questions for that. And then the last one, providing instructional supports, facilitating mastery of new skills. Here are the questions for that. Each one, whichever one you pick, it should take about an hour to work through, just because some of them might have 5 questions, some of them might have 4 questions. It should still take you about the same amount of time to work through one of these modules. Okay, so here are the questions for this module. Briefly describe. Again, we're not just going to list, we're going to actually describe, put a little thought into them. Here you could just list saying, okay, why modeling error detection and correction is important, and then imagine you're a 4th grade teacher, stuff like that. So those are the assessment questions. Again, you will only choose either this one, this one, this one, or this one. You will answer the assessment questions, again, working with a small group or a partner if you so choose, and then you will submit them right here where it says IRIS module. All right, so let me just show you what these modules look like. You may have been exposed to these IRIS modules before. I did touch base with Dr. Murphy. I think we are not using the same ones, but hopefully that is still the case. So I know we tend to switch around a little bit. So hopefully you have not seen these modules before, but you may have seen the IRIS resources before. So for example, this one, and it's the exact same for every single module. These modules are free. There's so many options. So I'm just going to show you this one just because it happens to be the top one. All right, so I'm going to click right here. Okay, so right here where the black line is, that would take you to the module, whereas here where it's red, that takes you right to the assessment questions. Okay, so I'm going to click. Bloop. All right, so this is what it looks like. There's a initial page like this. It walks you through, so this way, module, so challenge, initial thoughts, perspectives, and resources, wrap up assessment. Also the same going down this way, challenge, initial thoughts, perspectives, and resources, wrap up assessment. And then it also, see if I can get to it on this page. Oh, I don't think it says it on this page, but I think on the next one goes along the, hold on, I'm totally looking like a liar, people. Okay, so down here are the page now, the pages. You can work through it this way, you can work through it this way, you can work through it this way. They really try to make it inclusive for everyone, however you might want to work through these modules. For this one, Lynn and Doug Fuchs, they are kind of the founders, I guess, of PALS, or the developers of PALS, and they actually just won some big award, so yay for them. So what you'll do, you'll just work through it again. Let's say you want to work through it this way. Okay, here's some activities. Again, take some time, work through these modules, listen to some of these clips. They're pretty short. If you don't want to listen, you can also view the transcript there. And then over here, you can click on this and it'll take you right to a little activity chart. So you want to click on last sound game. Okay, that's what it looks like. So you don't even have to leave this site. Guess my word game. So that'll tell you, just give you some examples. It tells you the skill, phonological awareness, segmenting and blending words. We talked about that in chapter, oh goodness gracious, what was it? Chapter 7, I think, of the textbook. All right, so there's lots of ideas, lots of clips. Here are some other links if you did want to go to, oh, you can't go to that one, just kidding. Okay, let me close out of that. So you should have been able to go to vanderbilt.edu.pals, but apparently you can't. But, here are some other things, maybe, fingers crossed. So there are some rules. So there are a lot of different, kind of extensions that you can click on, but you don't have to. So I just want you to work through the materials. And then at the end, you'll keep going, page 9. Okay, here's some motivation. And then here's your wrap up. All right, here's your wrap up, and then it'll say assessment. So the questions right here where it says assessment, I copied and pasted. I went bloop, 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 copied and pasted, deleted the photo or the graphic, and then this is what I put into your assignment. Okay, so the questions are here and the questions are also right here. Right, so those are the questions, the assessment questions you will answer. I just took the time to put them in a Word document for you. And then again, you will choose one module, PALS, kindergarten first, PALS grades 2 through 6, IEPs developing high quality IEPs, or providing instructional supports, facilitating mastery of new skills. Okay, again, it looks exactly the same. So if you notice I clicked on a new module, it looks exactly the same. Oh, you can also access it this way too. So if you're like, oh, I really like this little graphic, I want to click here. You don't have to submit anything for the challenge. You don't have to submit anything for any other parts except for the assessment questions, your answers to the assessment questions. All right, so again, you can kind of work through it. You can click up here, you can click down here, you can click on this little thing, whatever works for you, however it works best for you to kind of work your way through it. So here's a little video, okay, 30 seconds. They're easy and there's so much information in these modules. If you do have some time, go over here, and this is not part of your assignment, I'm just kind of telling you for just, future use. You can go here, click on Iris Resource Locator. There are all these topics, right? So early intervention, early childhood, IEPs, math, MTS squared, RTI. We've talked about that, right? Transition, probably not really for you all unless you end up working with some of those older students. But mathematics, there's modules, case studies, activities. There's all sorts of wonderful free resources on here. There are also some evidence-based practice summaries. We talked about evidence-based practices, kind of those best practices again. So right here, thinking about, early childhood. Here are some practices that I might want to think about using. Or let's see, is there elementary? No, but here's reading, literacy, language arts, MTS squared, RTI, math, learning strategies, all of these things. It gives you some evidence-based practices, class-wide peer tutoring, or kind of PALS, right? That peer-assisted learning strategy. So there it is, peer-assisted learning strategies. So you might want to take some time and work through or look at some of the other resources on here too. There are some high leverage practices, which I think we talk about yes, we will talk about that in upcoming weeks. We have an assignment about high leverage practices. So you might want to look on here. It'll give you some examples of, some high leverage practices. All right, so keep this IRIS module, IRIS resource. So it's just, let me just show you, iris.peabody.vanderbilt.edu, or just go in and Google IRIS, IRIS Center, and you'll come to this page. There's also films and children's books, portrayals of people with disabilities. When I was teaching, I had a student with autism. One of my first years, I had a student with autism, and I was trying to get him included more in his fourth grade class, at least for recess and stuff like that. They didn't know anything about autism. They didn't know why he was kind of flapping his hands, why he would say chicken, 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 stuff like that. So I found a children's book and I read it to the class, with the permission of the teacher. Of course, she and I worked well together. So I read it to the class, and they then were kind of like, oh, okay, he's just like us. Like, he likes to play in the playground too. So, finding some of these things, these films and these books that portray individuals with disabilities might be really helpful for your future classes in your classrooms and your students. So just keep this in mind, Iris. But again, the assignment, you will choose one module, this PALS, IEPs, or instructional supports, and then you will submit just the answers to the assessment questions, okay, that you can find here in a Word document, here in a Word document, here, or here. All right, so that is it for the IRIS module assignment. Hopefully you will get something out of the assignment because, as I said, these modules are just amazing and there's so much information. All right, that's it.